All right, we are recording Commandant's Council this December 8th of 2021. Topic of conversation will be Awards Committee and Convention and, and Conference Committee. Our chairpersons are standing by to speak. First on the mic, if you will, is going to be Jim Powell. Welcome aboard, Jim. The floor is yours.
Thank you. For those who don't know me, I've been in the league for about 20 years now. And on top of the awards committee chair, I'm also the chief of staff for Commandant Baker. My committee consists of four others: John Miller from Washington, Butch Raines from South Carolina, Scott Westerfeld from Florida, and Joe Hughes from Kansas. The only awards that technically have to come to national are heroism, distinguished service, or distinguished citizen gold, and the National Meritorious Unit Commendation. They're only given out by the National Commandant. No, all the rest are either can come from national, depending on which one, or they come at the department level or the detachment level or the division. If you want somebody to be recognized by the National Commandant, you can do your Distinguished Citizen Silver and Bronze, and your Distinguished Service, your Community Service, and Meritorious Individual Commendations. It's always kind of nice if you want that to come from the top. You would still, these awards would come through the awards committee. Right now, there's the national roster has not been updated. So the names, if you see out there today, are not actually all correct. So we're waiting for that to get done. Part of the awards is order of precedence. That's one of the things we have to do from the committee, and that only has to do with the anniversary ribbons and medals. And it's really not a big deal because they go to the end. The order of precedence ribbon chart right now is incomplete. We do have one, and I'm trying to get that posted. So hopefully in the near future, that'll happen. The forms are online, but they're right now the only one that's online. They're supposed to be separated. There's an anniversary ribbon form, and there's also a form for individual, like if you want to give somebody a Distinguished Citizen Gold. Right now on the website, it's the old form that has both of them. So we're trying to get that stuff updated. Not sure how long that'll be, but we're making a go of that. If you're doing a anniversary, that goes to the uniform committee. And what needs to happen is that there's a form specifically for that. But you also need to do a description of what you're trying to present to the uniform committee. Like, it's going to be a standard ribbon. Here's the colors. It's going to have, a 50 or 75 device on it, or whatever you're going to do. They approve it because it has to make sure they're not overstepping somebody else's ribbons and medals. Any other, like the individual stuff, comes to the awards committee, and we try to get it to the commandant after we look at it and everybody's signed off on it. The big thing is right now is our commandant's in Hawaii, so he can't sign anything until he gets home. Other than that, I'm open for questions. Willing to help. If anybody needs any kind of help also, I'm always available. So, I'm more than happy to help anybody who needs to get things done.
All right,
I open it up to the floor.
All right, Jim, I have one hand raised and I also have a question in the chat. So we're going to let Steve O'Hara ask his question, and then I'll ask Brent Cast to ask his question. Brent, Steve, you're up.
All right, thank you. Question I have for the committee is, I'll use the Distinguished Citizen as an example. There's 3 grades to that: gold citizen or gold silver and bronze, yet in the descriptions in the enclosure, there's no real yardstick or other criteria to distinguish between those degrees of the award. I'm not even talking about who awards it itself, but which, in other words, you have a guy that does a great thing, or he has a pattern of doing great things. You want to recognize him. What I'd ask is for some sort of language in there that gives guidance on what the criteria are to advance from bronze to silver as far as recommendation, for instance. And I've got a couple ideas on it. I've got some emails out. I could forward those over. But you know, this is something coming out of the committee that I think would be beneficial across the league to give some guidance to local leadership that's trying to recognize their people and really needs some help as to what the appropriate award would be. The idea being to standardize this. So, you know, one detachment might be rating everybody for gold, and the same actions would rate a bronze in a different commandant's mind. So that's the question.
Well, again, it's all personal preference and personal opinion, like you were just saying. Some people would look at something in a different view. The baseline, though, is that the bronze can be done at the detachment level, the silver at the department, and the gold has to come from national. Now, the silver and bronze can come from national. Basically, what you're asking for is national to recognize somebody. And the way I've always viewed it is, if a bronze is something you're doing at the detachment level and a little beyond. So if you're kind of starting to get your feet wet in the department and you're doing a lot of stuff at your detachment, that would be something that would be bronze. The silver would be as if you're real active at the department and you're getting your feet wet a little bit, maybe at the national level. And gold, obviously, is you're very active at the national level. Or again, it's about doing things. I can only tell you, when I was a commandant of my detachment many moons ago, we had a guy in our detachment who was very, very active outside the league. And I actually did a write-up and got him a gold because he was doing a lot of this stuff with the, this is when the Iraqi freedom and all that stuff was really going hot and heavy when he started getting, he was very instrumental in a lot of these monument committees in a bunch of different towns and counties. So it's the distinguished citizen, I look at it some way also, is not necessarily only for the league, is what are you doing in general? I mean, if you're real active in your community, you know, to have national recognize somebody is not, you know, far-fetched, let's put it that way. You should recognize them, and I would think the National Board of Trustees would want to recognize people that are doing things and putting the league in a very good light. But again, it's very subjective. It's whatever, you know, everybody has their own thought process on, you know, and I'm not sure if you do have some ideas, I would be more than happy to look at them and talk to you about them and see what we can do.
All right, Steve, did that answer your question?
Yeah, it actually gave us some good guidance. As you go up the tiers, what I'm hearing is kind of the circle, how large the circle is, and what you're doing, what your actions affect.
Right. And yeah, if you're active in your detachment and you're only doing nothing else but your detachment work, it's hard to go to national and say, oh, he's been an officer on a detachment for 5 years and he goes to all of our fundraising. I mean, that's, you know, that's where I'm saying that you go to the levels, and it's what you're doing beyond, not necessarily just in your little area.
All right. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
All right, thank you, Steve. Brent, I see that there's been some chat from Ray Morrell. Has Ray Morrell answered your question?
Yeah, I think so. I just didn't want to go fishing and wasting time, but I figured it would be in the library and I found it, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. And for those that were wondering, Brent was asking where to find the forms. So all those that have the chat open, you'll see that Ray Morrell has given some guidance as to where to find said forms.
Right.
All right,
The,
thank you. Go ahead,
can
Jim,
I,
I'm
can I
sorry.
just interject there? So in the enclosure, the national or the anniversary form is kind of out of line. It's not correct. I'm going to try to see if I can get that fixed. The other thing is they should be on the library, and that's another thing. Once we get where I can get them to put that on the library, be a lot better. And again, I'm open. Anybody has any questions, I can help at all. I mean, I have the forms on my computer also. So if you need something, I just email me. You can call me. It doesn't matter. I'll tell you, if you call me and I don't know your number, I'm not going to answer the phone. But if you leave a message, I will absolutely return your call as soon as I can.
All right, thank you, Jim. Next up with a question is Ronnie. Ronnie, you have the floor, sir.
Hey, Jim, at the National Convention, there was some discussion about the placement of ribbons and medals, ribbons primarily, with the heroism ribbon. It was going to be talk was done, it was going to be an authorized ribbon, and there was some discussion about where it was going to be placed. First, for an isolated incident, or would it be placed after the Distinguished Citizen Awards, because that's a body of work? You guys had any discussion on that and made a decision?
Well, we did make a decision at National. We actually had a bylaw change. The heroism medal was passed, not the medal. I'm sorry, the ribbon. There is no ribbon. I need to think about this. There's a mini medal, and that's it. And it is number 1. So that's above all the other Marine Corps League medals. I plan to submit a bylaw change to add the ribbon next year. So, and again, if it's first and for the mini medals, I'll request it be first for the ribbons also.
Was that, it was done because of the heroism above a body of work? I know there was a lot of discussion about that.
Well, if you look at the bylaws or the APs, it talks about the heroism medal being, civilians. And from my perspective, since I wrote the bylaw change that got approved, we are civilians. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an EMT and things like that. My job is not to go out and save lives. So when I didn't see any reason why we shouldn't be allowed to do that. We do have several Marines, and I'm not sure if there's been any associates that have the heroism medal. And I know that they've worn it and they put it wherever they want to. So it was kind of just more of a getting it to be, part of the rules and where you place it. But it is number 1. It's the midi medal, and that's it right now.
Is there a chance of getting a lapel pin authorized?
Don't matter.
Well, if you want to put in a bylaw change, I guess you can do that. If you're going to get a ribbon or a medal, there's in some level, that's just redundant.
Okay.
So, I'm saying if you're wearing your mini medals, and actually, if you had a full medal, if we created a large medal, you could technically wear 3 on your blazer. So it would be redundant to have the same recognition in several places. So, but that doesn't mean you can't put in a bylaw change that says that's what we'd like to do.
All right, Ronnie, good to go? All right, wonderful. Real quick, next up is going to be Pilatus. Before you speak, sir, some chat is going on asking for the password for the Marine Corps League library. If you don't have it already, it is DD4, Delta 4. That is across the board to everybody, all membership to get into those forms and documents. It is password protected at DD4. That's also in the chat. So you're up, sir.
Tony Paletti, Department Junior Vice and Detachment Senior Vice. Haven't talked to Pat, my Senior Vice, about this. But in my detachment for 7 years, we have never given an award. So when I became the Senior Vice, that was one of my mandates, was to get an awards program set up. So this kind of goes with what I heard earlier. I had the privilege of sitting on 3 promotion boards in the Marine Corps, majors, lieutenant colonels, and colonel boards. And every time we sat on a board, we had a rubric that we followed that came down from the president of the board. So I went ahead and did that with our awards program. So when I was hearing you guys talk about the awards, my committee kind of had the same questions. You know, how do we determine Marine of the Year? How do we determine associate? How do we determine distinguished? How do we determine? So what I did was I actually wrote them up a rubric, and then they started to see the differences from the certificates of appreciation to meritorious to distinguished to Marine of the Year. And it really popped out at them to see the difference between the awards. Because I try to emphasize that a lot of times we think of Marine of the Year, we want to do this person for Marine of the Year. And when we, and I'm going to stop talking here in about another minute. And so what I told them was, well, we have to fill out an awards nomination form. When they saw the form, then they started realizing what I was trying to say. Right now, we have a candidate for Marine of the Year at the detachment level who's banging on all cylinders. And I have a lot of good stuff to write on his awards nomination. And I'm going to send it to department and see what happens with department. But he has gone for 7 years with no recognition of an award. And that's because the detachment never really understood the roles and the responsibilities of their officers and their appointed staff. So I can throw that at you. Forgive me. The awards chair, I can let you see what I'm doing at my level. But it's really, I think, a way that's going to help our detachment really appoint, as you were, really nominate and then vote for candidates for each award. Letty's out.
The only thing I'll interject there is a little bit is typically Marine of the Year is only done by the Marine of the Year Society. Even at a detachment level, once you get usually 3, they're the ones who determine Marines of the Year. Because that's, if you look in the APs, Marine of the Year Society is its own little world. Same thing at national. The board of trustees has nothing to do with who gets picked as Marine of the Year.
I understand.
So, but you can nominate them, obviously. That's, you know, it's, nominations are fine. It's just usually you have this society that figures all that out.
Well, then we have a little bit of a dilemma, because how does the detachment identify Marine of the Year at the detachment level if they've never done awards? How do we do that?
Well, usually when you start off, you typically have somebody along, like most divisions started their stuff, you know, in the, what I would say, near future. It wasn't done, you know, 50 years ago. The division Marines of the Year were, you know, most divisions, it's been fairly recent, last 10 to 15 years. And typically what happens is you get some help from somewhere along the line until you build a society to where they can do that. So if you just started a Marine of the Year program, then I would say by all means, your board of trustees should be the ones picking it for the first couple of years. And then again, it sounds like you have your stuff really together, because you're really trying to get people to verbalize on your nomination forms, here's why I think somebody deserves something. And that, believe it or not, I tried that in my detachment. It was okay for about a year, and then everybody else just wanted to say, to give you a piece of paper with a name on it. They didn't want to, you know. So I understand some of the frustrations of building a structured way of doing things. So
Right. And that's why I said I have to fill out the nomination form and send it to department, because they have Marine of the Year at the department level, and they can make that determination. I may have misspoken, but the point is, I understood that I've got to submit that name to department, and that's how we build year Marine of the Year and Associate of the Year. So then next year we'll have at least one of each. And then 2 years later, we have 2 of each. Okay, I'm sorry. Too much
Yeah,
talking.
no, it's fine. I mean, I personally think that if you have a detachment Marine of the Year, or especially somebody that you really truly believe has gone above and beyond, you should always put them in for your department, and you can also put them in for national. The National Marine of the Year has to come from a detachment. It doesn't come from a department, doesn't come from a division. So you got somebody you really believe is a go-getter. By all means, I would say, I personally think you should put them in for everything. Never hurts. That's
Okay.
all I'll say.
Hey, Patrick, I'll send it to you via email what I'm doing.
It sounds good. And I think the Marine of the Year submissions for the department need to be in about a month beforehand to the committee. So always plan about a month out to support.
Oh, we've already set up the timeline. So I've got that. I've got all that built in to make
Awesome.
sure that all the paperwork is submitted at least 30 days out.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right, thank you, Paletti. We're running into some of the time, so I'm going to take these questions that I have going on right now before we lose Jim Ransom. We don't want to lose them at all. So again, if it's a more specific question to your needs, I did put Jim Powell's email address in the chat. By
You
all
can
means,
put my phone number out there too if you want. I don't have a problem with that.
with all these crazy people, you sure?
No, I'm positive.
Not calling
If
them.
they leave a message and they tell me they're a Marine or they're part of the Marine Corps League, I will absolutely return their call.
All right, I'll put your phone number in next. James Roy has the floor right now, and then after that is going to be Kevin Keller and then Tanya. Stand by. James, you're up. Hang on, he's unmuting. There he is.
Sorry, just getting home. So I guess I can hit on just what they were just talking about before I ask my question. But for our Marine of the Year, what we do is our Marine of the Year Society meets and we talk about each person individually.
Uh-oh. Something happened.
Okay, sorry. It went to tap to speak for some reason. Anyway, we meet as a Marine of the Year Society and decide on and do the whole thing for the detachment. And then if one of the members that may be more deserving has never won a department, then we introduce the people that have won detachment Marine of the Year before into that pool then. And then if that member is more deserving, then we put that person up for, and so on all the way up. And we keep an attendance log of what everybody does throughout the year. So when it comes to awards, it's really easy for us to go back and figure out who's done the most or who's done this or all that kind of stuff. My actual 2 questions, and I've written possible bylaw changes to submit as well. I've seen people do 2 different things. One is for your appointed and elected position and even commandant ribbons. I've seen people who wear stars on them, and the bylaws don't have that in there, except under the appointed detachment officer, it has note 1. All the rest of them all the way up don't have that. I don't know if that's a typo or if they're all supposed to rate stars. Do you have any idea?
Well, if you get, I think it's might be under one of the notes, but every time you get elected or appointed, you put a bronze star on until you get 5, and then you go with the silver. And then once you get, I guess it's 25 of them, you go gold. But yeah, you get you do a star for each term of office, and a term is 1 year typically.
But I guess that needs to be clarified a little bit better in the bylaw or the administrative procedures, because that's the thing with it is it says it has to have
question mark.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Jeff Strauss, please mute. I
Yeah,
got
I
it.
think somebody else is saying something.
All done.
So my point was that usually things that rate the stars say note 1 next to them, which is what you were saying. However, on those particular things, it doesn't have that next to any of them except for the 1, and that's the detachment appointed officer. All the rest of them, all the way up, detachment elected, department elected, none of those have the note 1 next to it. That's why it's a little confusing. And my other question to kind of piggyback on that is also for recruiting. If you have somebody that's won recruiter of the year multiple times, shouldn't they rate a star as well? And I'm saying that because we want to inspire people to continue to recruit. It's one of the most important things we do is get bodies in the Marine Corps League. So, and on that, at the same time, if on the national level, if you recruit 25 people, you rate a bronze. Should we not put some sort of number for the department and detachment? Because if somebody recruits, say, 5 members, our detachment recognizes them. However, that's not anywhere in the thing. It just says recruiter of the year. But I mean, they got 5 recruits. I mean, that's pretty good to be recognized on a detachment level.
Well, the only thing I would say to that is typically everything gets stars. So like you're talking about the recruiter, if you got detachment recruiter 2 or 3 years, whatever, you should have a star for each of the years other than the first year. So it should work the same way. Absolutely. I would only say I'd have to, if you want to send me your email, I can send you some stuff back. There was some real old write-up stuff about a lot of this stuff. A lot of people, like I was living in Pennsylvania for quite a long time. I live in South Carolina now. And in order to even be considered for recruiter of the year, you had to do at least 5. So
Correct.
That doesn't mean, and there could be years where you might get one person and you only give out 1 award, as opposed to, several. So it really depends on your department.
I understand that.
So
Our
your
detachment
department
had 5
bylaws
people
will
that had
dictate
5
how
or
you
more, so.
deal with that.
Okay.
But I agree with you that there also should be, for the recruiter, there should be stars and everything else. And even at the national level, you get a certificate of I guess it's a certificate of appreciation if you do at least 5 and your detachment sends them in. I mean,
Correct.
typically at the national level, people are doing 40 or 50. So, it's really hard if you recruit a couple of people to have a chance at the national level. But it does, to me, it means, like you're saying, it means a lot to at least acknowledge people are out there doing something to grow the league, and especially at the detachment level.
All right, we might have lost James. So James, please, when you come back in, if you can still hear me, hold that question, or if you can take it offline, by all means, Jim Powell's available to you. Kevin Keller, did you still have a question?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead, Kevin.
All right. I've submitted awards. In fact, I've got 3 I've been waiting on for over 3 years to national. Now I know they went from me, who I'm the department commandant, or the detachment commandant, to the department to Central Division, and got submitted. And I'm still waiting for those.
Well, I can't speak to anything more than very recently, since I only became the
That'd be me.
So maybe Jim Ranson can answer that question.
Sure. Who's the names? You got the names?
Bill Dennis was one.
If you want to email them to me, go ahead, because I have every record of every award that was submitted that I ever got and received via email or mail. I still have the records for the last 4 years.
Yeah, Bill Dennis, Ray Gonzalez, and Gene Hickey were the 3.
Were they submitted through the detachment to the vice commandant? National
I
Vice
submit,
Commandant?
I'm the detachment commandant. I submitted them to the department. The department went to Central, Central went to National.
Okay,
I submitted 4 awards. I submitted the Heroism Award about 10 months before that. I got the Heroism Award after it took forever to get it, but I still haven't seen the other 3. I just resubmitted them about 3 months ago. I know department got them. I don't know if they went above them, but I've resubmitted them because I didn't hear anything.
that'd
So,
be Jim. That'd be the other Jim.
Yeah,
right. So I've already
Yeah.
decided, since there is such a problem with it, I'm never going to submit something to national ever again for awards because it's just broken. It's just I'm wasting my time. I mean,
well,
I hate to sound so negative, but from what I've done, from what I'm seeing, to me, it's just not worth it. I'll submit to the department and I'll do it locally like I've been doing, but I'm having massive problems with this program.
well,
Well,
I would,
let me say this, okay?
Okay.
And that's be fair to myself and being fair to Jim. We need a chance to clarify this. I do anyway, because I somewhere along the line, the ball got dropped, and if it was me, then it's my fault. But I have anything that came to me, again, by mail or email, they were all done. I sent out all the awards. I have all the records. And again, if you could send me the names of all of those people, all them Marines, and your detachment, whatever, email them to me, and I'll research them into my files, and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened. I'm not trying to blame anybody, but I don't know where the
Oh,
breakup
no,
is.
no,
We
nobody's,
need
no, no.
need
We're
to up,
we're
so-
not casting any blames here. What we're
No,
trying
I'm
to
not
do is
trying
try to
to. I'm
solidify
just-
it.
Right, we're just talking about it,
Right,
so
exactly.
I'm having these problems, so I threw it out there, but I mean, it just, one of those things, I guess.
so,
Well,
so if you,
I've had some communication problems, through the 4 or 5 years that I had it, and we handed out some at the Midwinter. Come to find out that the person that took them never handed them out. So, I mean, it's just, there's a reason why, okay? There's a reason why, and I want to find that reason and correct it, okay?
Yeah, I was at the
And,
last midwinter in Norfolk, so
Yeah, I know that.
been national, all that, but it is what it is, so
Okay, well, could you send them to me?
I can send them to you, it's not a problem.
You got my email?
I can get it,
Yeah,
not a problem.
okay.
well, speaking for myself, I would just like to at least give me a chance to help clear some of this up. So, if you would kindly email me, because I think that if we're going to try to fix this, you are somebody that's been deeply involved in with the issues. Part of the problem, I believe, because I've known this to happen in the past, it goes up the pipeline and stops.
Yes,
So you sent something a couple of months ago, and I can tell you I haven't seen that, which means either your department commandant or your division vice has not done their part, because the division vices all should know that when they get an awards request, that it comes to the awards committee. They know that, and they know it's their job to forward it on. So I'm sitting on one right now from the Southeast, because I'm waiting for Johnny to get back and get my committee up and rolling and getting going. But I have seen one, so it's not like they're not coming. And if you would, I would ask you to help me to figure out how to fix this. That would be what I would ask of you.
Yeah, because my department commandant is also the Central Division commandant, vice commandant,
And that is
Mike Sturch.
Mr. Sturch. Okay.
So I know he got my awards because I got an email for him, so I know it got to the department because he got them and got it to the senior vice to take care of, junior vice, whomever to take care of. So
And I
well,
can
you're
tell you,
talking Department of Illinois.
I
Yes,
have
sir.
not seen anything from Mike. That doesn't mean that it's still, again, we need to have some more clarity, I think, about how this stuff proceeds. So I would like to have you at least help me try to figure out how we can fix this.
right now, like I said, I was telling Jim, I've submitted those like 3 years ago because that was back when I was 4th District Commandant.
Okay.
So, and it's been 2.5, 3 years since then, but,
And that's
and
not,
it's,
that's
I'm not
not,
worried about the ones I just submitted, but they're the same one. So if whatever happens, happens,
but
but,
again, I haven't
Right,
seen
so-
them, so we need to
Right.
figure out where they're at.
okay.
Has your, so part of the, at least from
Interrupt
the,
for a second, Marines, I need to interrupt for a second. This is a very specific situation.
okay,
So if you guys could take this offline and definitely resolve it, but Jim is definitely willing to help. Both Jims are going to
Right.
help you. Kevin,
Right.
thank you so much for bringing that up. It actually needs to be said that, sometimes you got to chase these papers up and or down the chain of command. So communication,
Right.
find where that breach is. Thank you,
Yeah.
Kevin. That's a great topic, and I'm glad that we took some time on that. We do have other questions coming in on the award side before we move to Jim Ransom. Tanya, you lowered your hand. Do you still have a question for the floor? We may have,
No, I was just gonna comment. I know this is my first year as commandant for my detachment. And for like our Marine of the Year and our Associate of the Year, it's mostly our officers, but also just our Marines of the Year. We all get together and we sort of vote and nominate from there. Our detachment's small enough and our active members are small enough that we know who's done what.
yeah, I mean, it's small, you got to work with what you got. So thank you for sharing that. James Roy, we lost you for a
And-
little while. Oh, I'm sorry, Tanya, you got interrupted. I didn't realize you actually defaulted there or fell off. So
No, it.
yeah, your
Okay,
connection's
I
not.
came back, so I am gonna have to go though.
All right,
No, it's
Tanya,
not.
Semper Fi, have a great holiday.
Semper Fi, thank you.
James Roy, are you back and is your connection better? And we'll close up the award side of the social here.
Yeah, I just got home. Sorry about that.
Go ahead, James, you had a question.
I forgot what I asked now.
You
I
started
know I was
saying
talking.
something about 25 recruits. What are we doing for 25 recruits?
Oh, yeah. So if somebody recruits 25 people or more, according to the administrative procedures, they rate a national bronze. Do you only submit that to the junior vice, or do you also need to submit that to national
junior
awards
vice,
committee?
national junior vice only, it has nothing to do with the awards committee.
Okay.
Nothing to do with it. They go through and they check to make sure the names and the membership numbers are actually line up so that they're being told what's true. That yeah, it has nothing to do with the awards committee. We don't approve any of that. That's a fact. Hey, he recruited X amount of people. Here's what they rate, and you go from there. Yep.
Okay.
All right, thanks a lot, James. Please remember to stay muted if you're not speaking. I got some TVs going on in the background. Okay, I think I found the culprit there. Audrey, you are up, and then we'll close out the awards side of this, and then we'll open it up to convention. Go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. I just have a quick question in reference to, I hear about the award submissions. Are we doing this electronically, or are we still like hard copy, fill it in?
You
mail
can,
it?
well, so you need signatures, so we can't avoid that, but I'd like to see electronic signatures. That would be fine by me. That's something we can talk about and maybe we can get past. But yeah, if you have a form, scan it somewhere, take a picture, send it to me. I'm good with that. An email.
Okay.
Yep.
I just think it's a great way to expedite what we're hearing. Things are getting lost. Where is it sitting?
Yep.
If you have electronic copy and it's scanned, it's signed, it moves faster, and everything else in national is going that direction. So why don't
And yeah, we also need to figure out how to get electronic signatures so you don't actually have to sign it and then throw it through a scanner. You should be able to just electronically sign it and off you go. Yep, I agree with that.
All right, we look forward to that technology coming soon. and conference committee chair. He handles all the planning and such. So with Midwinter around the corner, I wanted to talk about awards, getting signatures out, and hopefully present some national awards. But Jim Ransom, you had the floor to talk about what is upcoming in February.
Okay, as you all know, the Midwinter Conference is still on at this point. There's no COVID restrictions at this time. I'll be meeting with the hotel at the Sheraton on the 18th of January, Bob Bork and myself. Obviously, this is due to because that there's been a hotel change in management, different people, different faces down there. So, and we've got to do some corrections from the last Midwinter we had, not this couple years ago, on some issues we had there with them, with the MODD plus the luncheon during the break time and some other issues. So that's going to get resolved. We got the link up for your reservations. Presently, we are down on reservations. We, as you all know, when you sign a contract, we're committed to so many stays. And if we don't reach them stays, then the national has to pay for it. So we're down on that. So I encourage everybody that's going to go, please make their reservations as quick as possible, so we can get this head count and banquet and so forth and et cetera. And we're also got to look at we're doing try to split up the cost on the hospitality night like we had in the past, the auxiliary and the Marine Corps League and the MODD split some of the cost on that. And then we got to get permission from the hotel to bring in some of the food. Last time they let us, that was, or of course, again, different management, but we're trying to keep the costs down. Things are looking pretty good. And the conventions and the conferences are kind of moving in a new direction in a way that we want to start. I'm not saying they're getting bored or nothing like that, but we want to add a little more, excitement to the things. And we're looking at doing some more guest speakers at national conventions and also at related to the Marine Corps League or veterans and stuff like that. This year we're going to have, I think it's, let me get his name here. Bobby Bray. I don't know if everybody's heard of him. Well, Bobby Bray's a singer, real good. You can go online. Matter of fact, you can go online and YouTube, you'll see him singing.
Are you talking about Dave Bray?
Bray, yeah, Bray. Did I say Bray?
Dave Bray.
No, Bobby Bray, B-R-A-Y, Bobby Bray. Okay, and Bobby is a singer, and he's done a lot for the veterans, homeless veterans and stuff like that. So he's going to be he's going to entertain us and speak to us what he's done, and then we're going to go on to having him probably at the banquet that night just to sing one song for everybody. But other than that, the itinerary should be out shortly after Bob and I meet with the hotel to make sure that we got all the rooms and done, and there shouldn't be too much in changes there, but we are looking at making some changes as far as on a room each one needs, like the MODD and Marine Corps League Auxiliary and of course the Marine Corps League. So we're doing some changes and we're trying to make it better again for everybody. So other than that, everything's online. It's at Norfolk. It's going to be at Norfolk again next year. That's because we missed a year last year, so we extended it. The board of directors did that to so they'll be there in 2023, and then we'll be looking for the next 3 years someplace else. And that's been being worked on also by the board to find out where we're going to go the next 3 years after that. So I'm open for any questions now that anybody wants to ask of me, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. And if not, I'll get you an answer.
All right, couple of comments. I got my hand up first. I see you behind me. First question, actually, it's a correction. It is David Bray. You said Bobby Bray. He's the former.
I got Bobby Bray. I got Bobby Bray from Bob. Bob Borka sent me Bobby Bray.
Dave Bray is the former lead singer from Madison Rising, and he's the name that I have.
Okay. Oh.
So
maybe it's That's, okay, well, it'll be in the itinerary, okay? So,
Absolutely,
all right.
absolutely. The other question slash comment I have is, I've been to this hotel a couple of times, a lot of midwinters for me. Is there any way to speak with the new management about getting a little bit more of an expanded smoking area?
Okay,
I'm
hang on a
a
minute.
smoker, and then late at night when the cigar smokers tend to come out, there's no place for a little lady to sit. And they sit out there for hours. We love them, but you know, my little cigarette tends to not have its special.
Where did they have it last year? Or when did they have it 2 years ago?
When you came out the door, just off to the right, there was a little nook with maybe 3 seats.
Okay, at the main lobby, you mean, to come to the main
Yeah,
entrance?
come out the main
Okay.
lobby, right?
Okay, all right.
That's all that I had for you, Jim. Thank you.
Yeah, well,
And
you know, the thing of it is, like I said, anybody's got any things that they want to talk about, let me know. I'm making notes here. So when we do meet with the management down there, we'll bring up I'll bring this up. It'll be brought up and see what we can do about that.
very good. Next up, Wendy
So,
has a
excuse me, but so basically you need more chairs. Is that what you're saying?
just a couple more seats, especially when the cigar smokers come out. Yes.
Well, they always stand up and smoke, cigar smokers.
Oh, no. Sometimes they even bring their own chairs. Real quick, Wendy is up next. A lot of questions coming into me on private chat asking for the dates. Please announce the dates. As soon as Jim offers those dates, Wendy, you're up.
February 25th, 26th, and 27th. That should be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Banquet's on Saturday night.
All of that information can always be found on the national Facebook as well as the national website under
It's on the
convention.
website. Everything's in there on the website.
Oh, and one last thing, Wendy, before you speak, Midwinter, for the first time ever, we're also doing a trivia night, trying to throw a little fun and excitement. So that also information is also on the website, and the Public Relations Committee will be sponsoring that. So we're available to answer questions on that. Wendy, you're up.
Okay, just a quick comment to Jim. I can't remember if you said an MODD representative would be there for the meeting that you have coming up, but the kennel quartermaster is not going to be there for Midwinter.
You saying there's no store?
No store will be there.
Yes, I got that. I knew that. I got the
Okay.
email on that a week ago or so, a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I knew that.
Okay. I just wanted to check.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
but you're still gonna be in the same area down there. Remember you were last year?
Well, I won't be there,
Okay.
but I'm sure they'll still need a room for all the other stuff for the
Oh,
registration.
yeah, I got that all
All that.
certified. Yes. Yeah, we're all set with that. That's all
Yep,
been done.
just the store won't be there.
Okay, all right.
All right, thanks for that, Wendy. Next up, Angie Mattis, you have the mic, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Jim, I wanted to ask you about the banquet, the schedule and the banquet. You know, in Springfield, we got our significant others and everybody dressed up, looking great. We show up at the banquet and it's a long drawn out event. That's what it was in Springfield. Enjoyed, you know, listening to all the guest speakers and then everyone that was speaking. But I'm a little concerned that we didn't spend a lot of time focusing on our families and basically entertainment. I think, you know, we're paying a lot of money, we're having a nice meal, we're coming to this event, we expect to be entertained. So what I'm asking you, Jim,
What kind of entertainment? What are you saying on entertainment?
well, what I'm asking you, can we set aside the last portion of that banquet, an hour, 2 hours of it to be a like a ball, Marine Corps birthday ball event? We've got our families there, we're all dressed up. Is there any way that we can have some dancing occur?
Okay, let me say this, and they tried that in Kansas. And they had an orchestra and they paid a lot of money for it. And by the time they got done with the banquet, they only had a half an hour left that they paid for the band. So that was quite an expense and they didn't get to do much. But that's something that we can look at. I'm for that, but that would have to be on the national level, okay, as far as the national commandant and the.
No, it's a change of
Borka, to get the schedule, we've been trying, in the past to try to keep the amount of speakers down. And that's why they went with, that's why we've gone now where there's not the full, oath of office and all that stuff at the banquet. And we could, it's just the speakers, and we could cut some things down like the awards but the Midwinter's not as bad as this national convention. National convention is quite lengthy. There's no doubt about it. And that,
Well, I'm just some sort of entertainment, something different than just getting them dressed up to sit in a room for 5 hours. Just doesn't seem like you're not getting the bang for the buck. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
No problem. I'm in tune with you on that one. I'd like to see something. We've been working on this. I've been working on this with Bob, that we got to get some other type of thing going here, some type of an entertainment. I agree with that 100%.
So I see somebody saying get some axe throwing in the parking lot. Not interested in that kind of entertainment, but maybe the dogs can do that.
Well, we'll get some of the national commandants, past national commandants. We'll throw axes at them.
Okay.
All right, thank you for bringing that up, Angie. I will also throw out, there is a lot of talent and expertise right here for very much zero charge. I am actually a retired DJ and still have my equipment. So, reaching out to our membership, we sometimes can get these type of things, comped 110%. I take care of my Pennsylvania Marines by offering entertainment, and for a little more trunk space, I have no problem if I'm going to be there doing that. So thank you, Angie, for bringing that up. We all like to get dressed up and drink and fall down, and we appreciate that. We're going to move right along. We're running out of time, so we got some hands raised, and that's going to be Ronnie. Ronnie, you're up.
Hey, Jim, the biggest frustration I have with the national convention is you got devil dog stuff going on at exactly the same time as the business meetings are going on. In my case, for instance, I'm a devil dog. It'll be years before I can move up to pedigree because, I was a department commandant for 3 years. Now I'm an ANVC for my division. So those business meetings to me are more important than that. And I shouldn't have to choose. When we vote on issues, it would be great if all the dogs were in there as well. Now, some straggle in, but that's being initiated. It's like having two separate conventions at exactly the same time. When those guys are Marine Corps League members first and MODD after. So they should be in the business meetings. Anyway, we can, from 8 to 12, or 8 to 1, we have Marine Corps League business meetings, and then the Devil Dogs meet in the afternoon and switch days or something, where you can actually attend both of those things. Right now, we're not able to do that.
Okay. We attempted this here last year or this year it was brought up in some of our meetings, convention meetings, that we wanted to change things around, and that was move the Devil Dogs into Saturday and Sunday, and then they'd be done Monday, and then move the convention stuff up so everybody would be there. Then when they do become Devil Dogs, then a lot of them leave, so they don't go to the meetings anymore after that. So it is being worked on, and I think it was brought up at I didn't get to the MODD growl, but I know it was brought up, and I think it was voted down that they would make a change of the dates and times to do the initiations. But it's still being worked on, it's still being talked about because it's very visible to everybody. You talk to the past national commandants and the present commandant. It has been something that's been on the front burner constantly as to what we can do to improve the time on the floor. And I agree with you 100%. Everybody, there's something we got to get that a little more cohesive there and see if we can come up with a plan that would work. And it's just that the Devil Dogs, they take 3 days. They take 3 days from the convention.
Hey, Jim and Ronnie, I don't mean to jump in here, but I just thought I'd throw my 2 cents in real quick. So this year in Springfield, we did have the dogs in there during the bylaws.
Yes.
So we were there the whole time to vote on that because we thought that was important to make sure that we were all there as an organization. And then also It's difficult because some of us obviously have full-time jobs and we take vacation to go to a national convention, and to try to stretch things out to say that the dogs need to go either earlier the week before so that we have time to do everything with pedigrees and moving things up. It's just more time off that people don't have. So it's hard enough now that you're giving a week to the Marine Corps League with the dogs and everything, because I'm a dog handler. I'm also on the kennel level. And then to say that I need extra days to complete that task because we have to do Marine Corps League and dog stuff. I know we all, we kind of have to work it in the same week. So
We got to compress
so
the
I'm
time.
just throwing it out there just to put thought in people's heads, because that's a big problem for some of us.
Oh, absolutely. It's been an issue all along. I mean, for the last 10 years I've been doing it.
Hey, Jim, I don't think that they should be separated with separate days. I just think in a specific day, the dogs could be in the afternoon into the evening. The next day, Marine Corps League could be in the evening and in the early afternoon. The dogs will be in the morning. That way, everybody can do everything at the same time. I would love to be initiated into pedigree, but I just can't do it. The business is more important.
Ronnie.
Who are you?
This is the executive director for the MODD, and this is something that's been discussed many times, to the point of one particular commandant said, well, why don't you just separate yourselves from the Marine Corps League? And we're like, okay, we could do that.
No,
And then you wouldn't have a Marine Corps League.
that's right.
Because probably 70% of the people that show up at either Midwinter or, the National is dogs. So we have worked on this, and we've tried to get the Marine Corps League to compress their long, drawn out frigging meetings to the point where we can all share. But somebody's got to give, and we only have 3 days.
Well,
We've got to cram all of our stuff into 3 days.
We can't lose our focus. You got to remember, everybody there's a Marine Corps League member first.
Absolutely.
And a dog after. The business
Absolutely.
meetings are important. That affects everybody. Now,
Let me step in here a minute. We did make a lot of changes in Springfield in regards to the meetings and stuff like that, and the bylaws were done, so they don't have to read everything. So we're getting down to there. We're working on that right now, trying to get that down even further so we can allow more time. So I think that
we had the awards. We had the awards in the evening, which
right, yeah,
those are good things.
that took time off the floor. So I mean, it's just, I think as we progress, okay, and these ideas are coming up, but everybody's aware of it, and it's just that we have to make some action on it and just do some stuff with it. That's all.
Okay.
All right, thank you for that.
Good
Ronnie.
question. Good question, though.
All right, moving right along. Joe Hughes, you are up.
Yeah, I just want to refer back to Jimmy comment and about entertainment at a national convention. We tried it. I served as chairman of the 2017 convention in Kansas City, and we scheduled and had a 15-piece orchestra for dancing the last hour of the convention. And we were actually promised by headquarters, Marine Corps League, that the meeting would end by 8:30, 8:45, even if they had to move the dinner up a half hour. And of course, that didn't happen. They just kept rambling on with the announcements and everything. So we're in the Midwest here, we strongly recommend that we do have some social for the ladies, the spouses, that sat around all week in the lobby, that Friday night is special. So I would back that, but it's not going to happen unless everyone in the Marine Corps League writes a letter, writes an email to National to say, hey, do it. That's where the powers to be with. Jimmy, you can speak on that. Someone's got to speak up and say, hey, this is what we want.
Sure.
Or that Friday night's going to be, but I'm a firm believer, again, that's why we spent $2,500 on that. And that was our money, detachment money, to try and get a dance, a dinner dance going. And it didn't work out. So it's got to come from across the country. Someone's got to speak up and say, hey, Friday night's got to end at 8:30, 9 o'clock. Do whatever you want, even if you have to start at 8:30 in the morning. But we've got to have a special evening for our guests. That's all.
All right, thank you for that, Joe. And Jim is, I see him, he's writing stuff down over there. He's just got his little pen moving right along. Again, great point.
Victoria, that's not true. Jim can't write.
Okay, Joe.
He's from Buffalo.
You know, and
Oh,
just,
boy, why do I see you, buddy?
just to touch on what you said, Joe, about reaching out, that actually segued me to making sure that we get more people in these rooms. These rooms are recorded. These rooms are reaching out to our membership. And there is always a national officer, an elected officer in this room to take these words back to our BOT. So right now in this room, we peaked out at 72, I believe. So 72 people have something to say. They're writing stuff down and they're learning. So, you know, keep spreading the word about these meetings. They are always announced through your department commandant. I send emails with the Zoom link to all departments. The National Public Relations Committee is always standing by to take notes and answer questions. If you are not getting the word via email, somewhere it's getting stalled. So please use your chain of command going up and coming down to ensure you are getting these emails. Find out where the stall is happening. If you're only finding out about it on Facebook, that's not a good thing. So, you know, we want to make sure that we're reaching out to every member, especially those at our newest members. You know, as some people like to call them the red hats. I don't like to call them that. I just say, you know, wet behind the ears, if you will, because I still am at 6 years. Jim Powell and Jim Ransom did some amazing things tonight, answering questions, clearing up some things. And from what I can tell, there's going to be some conversations coming offline. So this is a wonderful segue. The next one in January 2021, don't have schedule yet because we're going to alternate days. At this time, it is a little bit past the hour. Before I open it up for general conversations and any questions to the floor, I would like everybody, which everybody is pretty much on mute anyways, but I'd like a moment of silence this holiday season. Please take a moment to think about those that are not with their families for any reason, those that don't have family members to be with, and those children who might still need our toys. So please just take about 15 seconds with me, please. Thank you all. Just remember to reach out to your membership this time of the year and every time of the year. It's an awful place to be. So right now, the floor is open to anyone, any questions before I close out the recording. Anything you'd like to talk about, any burning desires for any of our national officers that we will not speak to until next year?
Victoria.
Graf?
Just quickly, just to kind of finish off the discussion of some entertainment at the banquet. I think we have a cocktail hour from 6 to 7. I don't think it would be a drastic change to move that 5 to 6 and move it up an hour earlier to allow some entertainment. I think that's a very work. That should be able to be worked out.
Outstanding, Griff.
I just wanted to add something to this entertainment part. I would think probably you would probably get more people coming to the banquet if they knew that at the end there was going to be some type of a formal dancing, you know, just camaraderie with one another, and it would certainly help the food and beverage because we'd have the open bar or the cash bar open more longer for the hotel, which would help us as far as the commitments we have to make. So, you know, overall, if everybody's a winner on this thing, it's good. But I go back to what Joe said. You know, we got to do something, I got to do something, and try to see what I can do to talk with the commandant, national commandant, and the officers to see if we can some way consolidate a little bit better that banquet night for different things, and if we can do it in different formats during the week or something like that, that may be positive too. So we'll see what we can do.
All right, thanks for that. Some things coming in online. We're looking for topics for our next Commandant's Corner. We always like to throw out a topic. You can send that to publicrelations@mcleague.org or put it in the chat right now. Everyone have a wonderful holiday, no matter what the holiday you
Merry
celebrate.
Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Semper
Christmas.
Fidelis.
Semper
Merry
Fidelis.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everyone.
Hoorah. Millie Klinkie Macher.